Hello, welcome to another episode of We Loves to See It. I'm Mimi.
And I'm Simone, and we are at the Hollywood Third Wheel Podcast Studio in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And
It's good to be back. We haven't
It
filmed in a
is.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. What have you been up to?
I went to Vegas last week.
Oh, God bless. How was that?
You know what? It was probably the most G-rated Vegas trip I've ever had. For me. I went to go see the Chippendales, and I wanted to get teabagged, but didn't happen.
Okay.
However, the MC of the Chippendales, I knew him from like 14 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw this on your story.
Yeah.
Or your
I
post.
knew him from 14 years ago, and he's been holding a grudge against me since 2009.
For what?
Maybe I hooked up with his friend.
Oh.
But he was like in a show at anyway, it was like another like male dancer or whatever. Yeah, but he's still holding that grudge against me. But I had a great time with the Chippendales.
Yeah.
It was still a good time.
Was that your first time?
Yes. But you know what I love? I love seeing men on display like that.
Oh, God, ideally.
I love it. And, you know.
It's where you belong. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it is where you belong.
I had that triggered. Yeah.
And like afterward, they had like this thing, like my roommate and I went, she called it like the flirt lounge, where the guys like all had to like talk to all the women that came there and like
So you're
sign
saying
their
there's
boobs,
a chance. Yeah.
all this stuff. You could tell that like some of the guys were like definitely gonna like smash like some of the fans and everything.
Respectfully, of course.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the one I wanted still has a grudge against me, but it's fine.
You're like, I'll be back,
It's
Billy.
fine. Yeah, but I mean, I like male entertainers. I mean, do you think they qualify as like sex workers? Because I mean, strippers qualify as sex workers, so do Chippendales qualify as sex workers.
You know what? Chippendales, I would say yes. I actually see the Thunder Down Under, and they do get naked at some point.
Yeah,
you know
well, I think they have
that's
their
what.
ass out, and they have a little.
No,
sock.
at the very end, they just hold. Yeah,
You can see their peepees.
I mean, kinda. It depends on
Peepees.
who has one. You know, if you could cup your fucking dick just in one hand, I'm just gonna leave it there.
You think it's small?
No, it's not that I think it's small. I just think.
I know they've got like little like flesh sockies over them. They do.
You think?
Yeah, they do. They don't have their dicks all out.
Well, they should get paid the Lord's work because they do the Lord's work. They keep their body nice and tight. They do athletic work.
They do.
Like, I almost feel like I need to go to the gym after. You know what? Fuck that shit. I was kidding. It's fine. No, they look great. We love you guys for that.
But yeah, speaking of guys with their dicks out and nipples out, today we have Shawn Alff
We sure do.
on the pod.
That's right. Both nipples are popping too.
Yes.
I haven't named my nipples yet, so if you guys want to
We
name
did
them.
pay
Can you
Later
bounce
on.
them?
Like, well, it's like,
Wait,
no,
no, show
like-
the camera.
Boom,
Oh my
boom,
god. Oh my god.
boom,
Can you do
boom.
both? Do both.
5, 6,
I don't think
7,
in
8.
time.
Oh my God, it's so
4,
hot.
5, 6. I love it.
Yes, you're doing an 8 count with your nipples bouncing.
Yeah.
They're not
So
quite
hot.
as
No, they're
big enough, but
great.
So
they
Shawn,
got some A cups. You got a little,
Yeah.
you're you got some
little
girth.
bit to me. Yeah.
Got some girth. Yeah. So you're in porn.
I am in porn.
That was actually like a memoir.
Yes, I am in porn. I'm in. Weirdly, I feel like I've done almost every job in porn except be an agent. So yes, I am in it in every capacity.
How did you start out?
Do you want the long story? Or the
We
short
want the whole
Oh, yeah,
story and
definitely.
nothing but the truth.
Paint the picture.
So I was in Florida. I was working for a magazine called Creative Loafing, and it was kind of like LA Weekly, but of Tampa.
Yeah, they had
And-
those in major cities across
Yeah.
the country. Yeah.
And the print industry was kind of dying as they're fighting for revenue from online. So they wanted to switch to an online first model to get advertisers, and what people click on online is sex. So they started a sex and love section of the paper, and they needed somebody to write about that stuff. And I was like, I'll do it, and I'll use my real name. And so I started going. Tampa is weirdly like it has some of the most strip clubs per capita in that area.
They're so great. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're good strip clubs, and it also has nudist resorts. Nudist resorts and swinger clubs often go hand in hand. So there's a lot of those, and there's a big fetish scene there, which I didn't know.
Really?
There's Fetish Con there every
Tampa
year.
gets down.
Yeah, Tampa's.
I'm from Fort
Tampa's
Lauderdale.
frisky. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. There's a big swinger scene in Fort Lauderdale too.
Oh, is there some?
Yeah,
hell
they do
yeah.
yacht events and stuff. And then there's also in Tampa
Yes, the yachts, that's right.
small porn awards every year. So I went to that.
Right.
My first year, it was at a nudist resort. It was at this place called Caliente.
I bet.
I remember like just naked porn people everywhere doing their thing. And it was probably such a tame party looking back. But to me, at that point, I was like,
First
this is
coming out,
crazy.
yeah.
And I noticed like the more I wrote about porn events or interviewed porn people, the more my stories got clicked on, which, they were probably just looking at the pictures or did care at all. So the people that I wrote for, they kind of wanted me to do more of those stories just because it got more traffic and it made their numbers look better on the site. But then once I started writing about one porn person, then I got contacted by all the PR agents for porn people. And so I just started writing more and more. And then I can't remember exactly when it was, but I moved to San Diego. I was working at a bar part-time because writing does not pay that well.
Sure doesn't.
So I was working at a bar, and then I switched to a sister bar in San Diego, and I was still writing remotely. And then when I was in San Diego, I would come up to LA once or twice a month to be on set, and then I would write for like Hustler and AVN and XBiz.
That's awesome.
And so I got to know a lot of the different people, and I'd go to the award show and go to events. And then I realized this woman, I'd kind of always known like I wanted to write scripts for porn just because I was like, these are so bad. Like I could do so much better.
Hey, step bro.
It's so known for that. Just
I'm
like
in
the
the dryer.
We can talk more about that later.
yeah, we're
I
gonna
have
get in
much.
there, yeah.
But so this woman, Jackie St. James, she needed like a production assistant to be on set, and she also was like, and I need help writing. And I was like, I can do that. And she's like, you just have to move to LA. And I was like, I will be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
I moved up to LA and then started working sort of part-time for her. And then I realized pretty quickly in porn, like if you just show up on time, do a good job, have a good attitude, and are pleasant to be around, everybody wants to hire you. It's like crazy. It's like,
That's a vibe.
you're here, like you show up. This is great.
Like, am I not? Should
You're
I
the
come 30
perfect-
minutes
yeah.
late? Because I will now.
Yeah. Because so many people in porn have not had regular jobs before. Like
Got
they
it.
get in at 18, so
Yeah.
they're just used to
I didn't
like
think about that.
everybody catering to them. So I started working for a lot of different companies. I was writing scripts and production assistant, did a little bit of directing, but it's just too stressful for the money that you're getting back.
Can't imagine.
And then over COVID, I started running a few people's like accounts, like posing as them. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just because you had to find new ways to make money because we weren't working on set. But then I also got contacted for this company, Bellessa, that Jackie St. James works for, and I work for them a
fuck
lot. They're more female focused, like for a female audience. And they wanted to do a series about an average guy getting into porn. And I,
That's like seriously so like intriguing.
yeah,
It is
I
in itself.
wrote the guy, because I'd never started working in porn thinking I could be a performer.
Never.
And so you want to, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say, obviously there's that. Yeah.
yeah. So I emailed him and I'm like, listen, I have a very average dick. I have a very average sex drive. I have anxiety. Like I'm the worst person to,
Right.
like, I'm going to fail so hard. He was like, that's why we want you. We want
He's like,
people to
"That being
see
said."
what's, so the whole series is called Zero to Hero. So they paint me as like, I don't want to say a loser, but like, and also like at the time I was like 39 or something. I'm like, this is not the age to get into porn.
Wait, how old are you?
41.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that was part of it. I'm such like a late bloomer. I think I probably have low testosterone.
Great genes. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so the series is mostly like me being nervous before the people show
I
up.
love it.
And then we show up and there's like they really like the awkwardness, and then
You're like, "Hi,
the scene
Susan."
happens. Yeah. So we did about 30 of those scenes, and I think
Wow.
I didn't like, there was definitely some struggling and like, hold on, I need to get my dick hard kind of thing. But I didn't fail any scenes, and started an OnlyFans, and then I knew so many people in the industry, and once I started shooting, then people were like, oh, you shoot too? Let's shoot stuff. So I just started shooting for a bunch of with a bunch of people. Like after this, I'm shooting a foursome.
Yeah. Casual Sunday.
Yeah. What's the prep for that, dude?
For a foursome?
Yeah.
I guess, what
Like,
do you
how
mean by
long do you have
prep?
to be hard for? I don't know what it's like having a dick, but like
Well,
I can't imagine.
So it depends on like a professional porn shoot. So the scenes that you guys see, the ad scenes, the stuck in a dryer, we kind of think of those as like comic strip porn, and it's just like they want those key moments, those weird moments that are going to pop out to people. Those are really hard scenes to shoot, and those I don't really shoot for that many studios yet. I'm kind of, as with everything in my life, I'm easing into it because I've been on those sets and I don't want to like fail and have everybody waiting on me. There's just so much pressure. But on those sets, which are called top ad scenes, I mean, it can be up and down all day. You can be on set 10 plus hours and it's like, okay, get your dick hard. And then fuck her on this table. And then, you know, fuck her in the dishwasher or whatever. And then, okay, we need to reset up. So hold on for like 2 hours and then we're going to go back. But I mean,
you're like, sit, Billy, sit.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Cowboy.
Oh, it's
of course.
the making it as like a top male porn star is like a very strange mix of like genetics and just temperament and the right ingredients. Like I call myself a porn performer because I'm not like the guy that's shooting every day. Like some of these guys are shooting 2 scenes a day. They're just sex drive is on a different level.
Yeah.
Like borderline, I would almost say sex addicts, but not in a scary way. It's just like,
just legitimately.
yeah. And I don't like, to give you a frame of reference, I usually come once every 3 days. So I'll shoot like once every 3 days just so I have more.
So do you save your time for the performance?
Is that hard to do?
I guess for other people, but not for me. Like last night, I was having sex and we had sex like 2 or 3 different times. And like, she was like, I don't know how you're not coming. And there's just like a part of my brain that I really love delayed gratification.
Right. But that, after the third time, I'd be
sort of, yeah.
I'd be pissed. I'm like, figure it out. And also like, I you know, I'm in my 30s and like I just feel like I get tired after a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it just, I mean, the porn we have when we're not filming is very different. It's much more like intimate, like a lot of missionary, a lot of like tight. Because when you're shooting, it's about opening up so the camera can see as much as possible.
Here's my gaping hole.
Which you're not going to really come in that sense. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
So I have a question. When you were being a production assistant, I did watch a little bit of. We watched a little. Obviously, we did our intel, sweetie. I don't know if you were like saying it, joking, doing it, but like, you know, wiping the cum.
The toilets. Oh, wiping the cum.
Yeah.
No, I do that.
Wow.
So
The Lord's work.
This is one thing about working in porn is you can make a good living in porn if you don't have an ego. Ego helps some guys. Like they need to think they're the alpha male and like I'm gonna come in and kill this scene, and that helps them. For me, that's never worked. I'm not that guy. I underplay myself all the time. I love it. But like so as another example of that, I work with this guy Mike Quasar, he's been in porn since he was 18 shooting, and there's this joke that I'm always on set, so I play a cuckold. Like he needs somebody to get cheated on. So like we call him a sexer or a non-sex actor, but I will come in and like I'll have a girlfriend or wife and then she fucks my friend or something. Yeah. So like we call it the Adventures of Cuckleberry Finn. And
that is perfect.
Damn, you're really doing Mark Twain proud.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. Of course he is.
Right. So like, but there's a lot of like male performers who won't do those scenes because they're like, no, like I'm the star. And I'm like, so it's the same thing with wiping up cum. And like also as a job, like if you're directing, that's part of your job. There's like, you have a very small crew. It's like 2-3 people. Yeah, I think about it like that. Although I've noticed, because I've worked behind the scenes on a few gay sets, gay guys clean up after themselves. But I don't know what it is, but I remember I was on set maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you give them baby wipes after the scene, and this girl like wiped her pussy and her ass, and she looked around for a second for a trash can, just tossed it on the ground and walked away. And I'm like,
who are you? Like, really?
And it's like, they can be the nicest people, but there's still, some people have that ego. And I think so much of it really depends on what age you get into porn,
right?
And what age you start getting this huge following and people telling you how great you are. It's kind of like famous people, and you guys have probably met some famous people. Right. The age at which they become famous is the age at which their emotional intelligence and maturity ends. So if you get into porn at 19 and you're getting good money, people telling you you're a star, your emotional intelligence.
You think you know it all at 19.
It's kind of like if you grew up ugly and then became pretty later in life.
Yeah, that's what happens.
You have a much better personality. And I'm sure you see it a lot in comedy with women, where you develop that sense of humor and then you get pretty later on.
Yeah, 100%. Wow, she just looked at her. I was just like, come on. But also, we love the gays for this. It's just like, no one can touch my cum but me. So,
they're like, no, let me clean it all up.
This is the crystal of cum. Do not touch it. No. If you do, you'll get wings and start flying. God, that sounds amazing. Wow, I love that. So, are you from Florida or?
I'm originally from Austin, Texas.
Okay, I felt like I heard some type of.
Oh, really?
Something.
You still got it.
Yeah, I had to lose the y'all. That was when I moved to Florida. That was the one thing when I said y'all, people were like, oh, y'all, where are you from? But it's such a good word.
We love a y'all.
So I stopped saying y'all, and then after that, I kind of
converted.
You should bring it back.
But what I noticed is I have a brother, which you know, but
I do have a brother.
He lived in Alabama, and then he works in the energy field, so he deals with a lot of like old boy type guys, and his accent has gotten stronger.
No way.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see because we grew up like we lived in the same room for 14 years of our life. We're not twins, but he's like a year and a half older, and
wow, close.
So we're very, very close. But it's interesting to see him having the accent and me not.
Such a different, yeah.
What does your family think about you doing porn?
So my parents are older. My dad's 85 and my mom's 75, and it was such a slow slide for me. It was like writing about the adult industry, and then it was like working on set and then writing scripts.
You ease them into it.
Yeah, so I haven't really, like, I've also dated performers and brought them home to meet them, and I was like, yeah, we work together. He's
progressive. We love that.
Like, so are his parents.
And what I love about my parents is like they are accepting of anybody. Like they're like, okay,
very lucky,
cool, but they might ask like untactful questions, I guess.
For sure.
Just because they don't.
Just ignorant.
Yeah, you're older. But so I haven't really told them, hey, I'm performing. But my brother and sister know, and then I haven't seen my extended family that much, but
so your parents aren't about to fucking like stumble upon it. So
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm sure my dad has. I know that he's watched.
You think your dad dabbles? Wow.
I don't know if he stumbled upon me or not. I mean,
wait, I don't know. I truly don't think my dad watches porn. Now that I think about it, do you think? I don't really watch porn. I don't, and I'm very sexual.
Most women don't.
I think that's the whole thing. Is like I'm already turned on all the time. I don't even have time to notice anything else. Like I'm in, you know.
Yeah, and most women I think are more cerebral sexual,
right?
And I think one of the biggest problems with porn for women is what a lot of guys don't understand is guys are one of the biggest dangers for women in the world. So when a woman is watching porn, even if it's like it's one of the like they're really into gangbang porn or whatever it is. If they're watching the girl, part of them is like, does she really want to be there with these guys? Like, so your head is like, I don't think she's enjoying this. Whereas, if you look at like romance novels, they have some of the word like rape, gangbang, like terrible stuff. But because it's like controlled and imaginary, they can indulge in it. But because when they're watching porn, it's like it's a real act, and so they have to know that the woman is enjoying herself, and then they can watch the most brutal, fucked up shit. But I think that's a big divide for a lot of women is just, is she okay? Does she want to be there?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's just different. Women are more cerebral. You're more, guys are like, we just want to impregnate every hot thing we see.
That's true.
But because you have to carry babies for 9 months and then you're responsible for a baby, you're more discerning of like, is he a cool person? It's not necessarily all about looks. It's like, is he a provider? Is he all of those things?
Right.
So it's not as much just like, get my dick hard, empty semen. That's why we're more visual. You guys are more like investigatory.
That's true.
So coming from like this perspective of being, you know, a creative, a writer, and also being a man, and then writing for porn, how do you write stuff that's going, the men aren't going to be like fast forward through, all right, well, you fucking get on with it. I want to see, you know, the facial or whatever. How do you kind of go between both worlds?
Okay, so it's different because I actually don't know who's watching the scripted stuff. Sometimes it is more for women. Sometimes they're just fast forward. Me personally, I just fast forward to penetration. Like I don't care about the scripted stuff. But a lot of times, what the scripted stuff came from was back in the day when porn was shown in movie theaters. It had to have a certain amount of story to be able to be shown. So it was just shitty story, and then, okay, here's sex, and then shitty story. They didn't care that much, but they needed it.
Right.
And then from that came softcore, which is sort of the same. Like it has to be a certain amount of storyline, and that's still shown in countries that can't show hardcore, or it's on like cable and stuff. So a lot of porn that we're making, they try to get different avenues. So you'll have like a softcore version, but you need the story. Some of it is like guys like the dynamic of, let's say, MILF porn. When I look for MILFs, I don't necessarily care. I don't want to see like a stepmother scenario. I just want an older, aggressive woman with the MILF body style.
Right.
But because I'm typing that in, the studios are seeing, oh, a lot of people like MILF porn. So they're like, we need more MILF scenes. So they write these, and it's like, do they want that? Or is it just that we want that dynamic?
Fantasy,
a sexually like empowered woman. So part of it is that we're writing more for distribution,
right,
as opposed to necessarily like, are people actually watching this whole thing?
It's like a stepmother thing is so intriguing though. Like I love a good scandal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That turns into, penetration ideally. That's literally, it sounds like the best Tuesday ever, if you think about it, you know?
A scandal that turns into penetration.
Yeah, God, I'm lonely. So back to you. Back to you. No, but that's interesting. I remember back in the day, Bang Bus was such a thing. I loved Bang Bus.
Casting couch.
Do you think it was real?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
I've found that if, like, let's say Bang Bus is your thing, you're, as a guy, it's I forget what the word is, but you want to believe it's true so much that your mind is like, oh yeah, it's easier to believe it. So if you really like the idea of Bang Bus, you're like, I could see that's like really happening. Like, they just found those guys.
They just like drive away.
Or like for instance, I know somebody who's into like wrestling porn, and he asked me, he's like, is it real? Like, I mean, not.
You're like, sure, sweetie.
Guys, I just had a late thought. I have to say this. So you said you write for porn distribution.
Well, it depends.
Are you like a porn SEO writer?
Porn dealer.
No, I mean, so it's just different. It's the part of with porn studios is they're trying to make a product that they can use on a lot of different channels. So they may cut it up and just use a sex on something on a different platform, right? And they may bundle that into like, look at all these MILF scenes or something. But they'll also package like a movie. I think we did MILF Pack, which is about a bunch of MILFs fucking stepsons, but we had to have a loose story that kind of tied it all together. But yeah, part of you are doing search engine stuff, but you're also writing for we self-censor a lot, and our self-censorship is based on credit card distributions and what they term okay. So for example, I've written like horror porn, but you can't show a dead body, or you can't show somebody dying, or you can't show blood.
Oh wow. Even blood?
Yeah, because what's so weird is like in like an X-rated or a R-rated horror movie, you could show tits and fucking and all of like the most gory stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But for us, we have to self-censor it, because if it's too much on the line, a credit card company may refuse to process payment for a site.
Oh, because it could look like snuff porn.
Something, yeah. So we just have to be very, very careful. And studios don't want to take the risk of, pumping $30,000 into a movie.
I was saying that money's gonna be.
And then so we're almost like overly careful. Or so another example is like everybody likes the stepmom stuff, but you can't say mom. You have to say stepmom, and then you have to say, but we've known each other for less than a year or something. Like they can be your stepmom, but they have to have known you after you became adult, and then they have to have only been your stepmom for like a few years. So there's all these little weird things you have to work in. And then if you're younger, you have to be like, oh, I turned 18 last 100%. Year. So there's all of these things that make porn writing terrible. There's so many reasons porn writing terrible.
That makes
One
so
is
much more sense.
Nobody really cares that much. Nobody's getting paid that much to write the stuff. Oftentimes it's just a director coming up with it before. Right. We're not getting extra budget to do it, so we're not going to spend more time doing it. And then you're just trying to hit these points of like, okay, we need to make sure people know it's a stepmom, but we also need to make sure they know they're 18.
Right.
So you're trying to balance out like feeding the fetish, but also making
it legal.
Companies happy. Yeah,
it's almost like improv. Like there's these random rules with improv where it's like, you know, you can't say no, you can't ask questions, stuff like that. So it's so interesting that is kind of, well, that's why it's an art in itself, because to have, obviously it makes sense to have the structures like 18, whatever. But I don't know. It seems like back in the day was that a thing back in the day too, or is that just as of the days of the cancel culture and whatever? I mean, I feel like I've seen like it's child-based, not like that, but you know what I mean.
It's continued to evolve, and so it really just depends on how much liability you want to take on as a studio. So for example, with people shooting their own content for OnlyFans, if they shoot a scene where they just say "mommy," oh, fuck me, mommy, over and over. Maybe OnlyFans will make them take it down, or maybe they'll risk OnlyFans like canceling their account, which isn't as big of a deal as like a studio.
Yeah, you spent money, the time.
Down.
Yeah.
So the smaller creators can take a bigger risk, or like, for example, in Germany, I think public sex is legal, so they'll shoot like public disgrace stuff where they'll just fuck in public.
Right.
And that's, you know, technically legal, but like here, there's so many different weird rules, and every site has different rules. Like some sites allow like pee, and some sites don't. And that's the whole thing with like squirting, is just it's a way to get around pee.
True.
Wow.
Look at all this.
That's a talent in itself.
I'm not peeing,
you know?
I'm squirting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just so crazy. Where that's why I could kind of see what people be like, yo, fuck the dialect, because it's just like that makes it just so much more. And also that would take away from. I mean, I'm assuming as a performer to like focus on that. It's like, okay, now I'm talking about a scene, and then I have to be ready for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
it's different parts of the brain.
I would never think in my life that I would ever say this, but it must be hard being a guy, you know, in that situation, because we don't have a dick. Yeah. We don't have to be hard. Our shit just stays nice and tight and ready to go. Like you have to actually get it there, stay there, make it look cute.
Yeah.
Flex it.
It's one of the most difficult things to explain to women, of like the dick getting hard thing, because I've never found a good metaphor for. I mean, maybe it would almost be like for a woman who has difficulty coming. I'm like, okay, you have to come in a minute.
That's a good.
And like put them on the spot.
Yeah,
that may be an equivalent, but there's just it is what I've learned for me, and you do really get to learn your body doing this. Is like being relaxed is the biggest thing for me, and so. I'm a naturally anxious, nervous person, but it really is just repetition and practice. And the best comparison I've found is stand-up. The only way to get better is to get on stage and to test your material and to fail. True. And it's the same for guys in porn. The only way to test yourself is to put yourself out there and risk failing in front of an audience.
On the spot, right? Yeah.
And by doing it over and over, the anxiety level goes down. Because for me personally, like the first scene I shot, I had trouble sleeping a month before. And the night before, I slept 3 hours. And now I've gotten to, and it got less and less, but now I've gotten to a point where like, I don't even think about getting nervous. I'm like, I'll get worried later. I'll get nervous later.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't notice it happening, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with the pattern of like, okay, and this is what my body needs, and this.
Get more and more comfortable as well, yeah.
How many scenes have you performed in now?
I guess it depends what you mean by scenes, but just an example, I have 50 scenes I haven't released yet, so I probably have done maybe 200 scenes or something.
Oh, yeah. You're getting close to my boy, my friend, Chad.
I was like, who, his brother?
No.
Chad Alva?
Chad Alva, yeah.
Oh, I know Chad. You know Chad?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's great.
I love Chad.
I love how, like, weird he is.
I
like,
know.
In such an endearing way. Like,
right?
I love people who are just complete originals and they live the way they want to live.
Oh, there's no one like him.
How do you know him?
He's great.
You
fucking
I think we know how she knows.
No, he's really good friends with my roommate.
She's like, I haven't walked the same since.
He's really good friends with my roommate. And he's great. He actually was at my last open mic. He tried stand up for the first time.
He did?
He'll do
that
whatever.
Seems, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
It's such a Chad thing to do.
Yeah.
You know. Do you feel that, like, you know, would you consider yourself a sex worker?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you feel that you're having maybe, how do I put this, like a better time? Like, do you feel that as a man that you face less of a stigma than a female sex worker, or do you think it's about the same?
It's a great question.
100% I have less of a stigma. But the flip side is part of what female performers are paid for is to take on the stigma. So as a guy, I mean, unless you're a top dude like Johnny Sins or Dredd,
right,
or you have a giant dick, we're just props. I mean, or if you're on the gay side, then guys are going to you for you. But we're like a camera. We're there to highlight the woman, the female. So with that, porn is one of the few industries where women consistently make so much more than guys.
Oh, so much more?
But
it's a lot more.
It's hard to say because if you're a really good guy male performer, you could work pretty much every day of the month at a lower rate. But with women, you don't work as much, but you get a higher rate. But with OnlyFans, you're in all of the different avenues to connect with fans. The earning potential for women is so much higher, unless you're one of those anomaly outlier men.
Right.
That's a great way of looking at it. I mean, because it's probably the only field of work where women do get paid way more than men, and it's always been that way. And it's also like a friend of mine, she was doing porn, and she and I had coffee the other day, and she was telling me that, like, you also, like, women will get paid like by scene. So if it's just like oral, it'll be like, let's say 800. If it's girl on girl, it'll be 1,000.
So there's rates for different.
Anal is 2,000.
That fucking should be bitch.
Or what, and then it kind of goes up from there. Double anal is $20,000. I'm just kidding. I don't know, but that it just kind of goes up like that. That's what she said.
Yeah, and what I do love, I mean, the porn industry, like any industry, like Hollywood, has its power dynamics and like people trying to like use sex to get stuff, but it's changed so much even in the time that I've worked with OnlyFans. Is given so much power to performers that there are more stars. Like the studios know, like, okay, we need to work with so and so, but with that comes diva type behavior,
of course.
But that is much better than like, studio heads or directors feeling like, oh yeah, she fucks me, then I'll give her work or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's that power dynamic has shifted. And so it's like, there's still bad things that happen. The problem I think with porn is like, if you have a bad day, like working at a bar, it's a bad day. It's like shitty. Like you don't want to be there. If you have a bad day on a porn set, it's like, I don't really want to have sex with this person, but you still do. That like is a different level of weird.
Yeah, especially mental.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we all are whores one way or another. Like we're renting out our body for, like, I worked at a bar.
I agree.
And I've never had a job as good as porn, or that has taken advantage of me less than porn. Like all of the other jobs I've had, it's just like pay you shit and like they need you to be.
Oh,
here
we're all a number. It's like really like disposable at best.
It's just the difference of like, if you're having a bad day at work or you're like angry at your boss versus like, I had a shitty day on set, I didn't connect with my partner, they were but it almost feels more like a sex crime.
Right. Wow.
So
Wow. I would feel like super safe with him on like a porn set.
I'm like, do you want to like go lay?
I'd be like, can we just like
you're so like, I don't know. I feel comforting. I feel like I do. I want to just lay with you.
Yeah, we're genuine.
Well, I love cuddling. That's sort of like
I felt it. I love it too.
What I always tell guys, or it's kind of what I told you earlier, like I'm not like, I don't have the giant dick. I'm not like the alpha male, but what women come to me for is like, I'm safe, I'm reliable.
You capitalize on what you have. Yeah.
Right. And so many guys just don't realize it. They just think like, oh, I have a big dick, or like,
don't tell
that's
them.
enough.
It's not enough.
So
these days I don't even want a big dick. Ow. Yeah. Like what? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say size doesn't matter, because I mean it does what it doesn't, but it's not like, you gotta feel something, right? You know, so you gotta feel something, but you don't want to feel too much. But like you said, the tightness, if you are tight, in my opinion, and in there, like connecting, I'll come just from that.
Yeah.
Like the closer the better, just stay. I don't even want, this doesn't matter. It's more just like that.
Yeah.
Simone, I miss
God, I'm a lover, dude.
Simone, you're making me really miss sex right now.
Oh, yes. Guys, Mimi is celibate for
Why?
TBD.
You were just in Vegas?
I know.
Maybe that's why.
Weren't you like grinding on the stage or something?
Yeah, I was. That was the guy who he didn't know it was me. That was the guy who was holding the grudge against
me. I'm going to rock your world. You're going to remember
Did
this.
you whisper in his ear?
No, I just.
That would have been genius. Yeah.
I know. I was nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was in Vegas, and it was the first time I've ever gone to Vegas, and except when I was married, I didn't hook up. So yeah.
Slut. I mean, I told you this. This is probably 7 years ago, but I was celibate by choice for 9 months, just because I found myself, because like I said, I'm a very sexually charged person, and I found myself, exiting situations that I shouldn't have been to go for some dick. You know what I mean? Like I'd be at my Comedy Store heydays, and I'd be on sacred ground, and all these guys are about to come in like Chappelle, and I'm like, no, he wrote me back. I'm horny. I'm gonna go, and I'm just like, so what the fuck? That's when you know that it's like an addict. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna go get high and do whatever over things that you love and care about and have moved here to do. And it was the best thing I've ever done. It was amazing. And I felt like I also kind of knew what was worth my time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that, but I think it's also for me right now, we're going to get back to you, Shawn, because I got some questions.
Okay. Now we're like, I got my period today. I'm thinking things.
I think it's also because I haven't really met anybody lately that I even want to have sex with.
It changes. In my 20s, I didn't give a fuck.
Because think about it. Where do I go? I go to the bar, and I go to shows, and I go to open mics. Do you think I want to fuck any of these male comics?
I'm the only unstable one in the room, okay? Two unstables don't make a stable.
Speaking of, have you ever been celibate before?
When I was, I didn't have sex till I was 20. I was a very late bloomer.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my questions, so thank you.
That is late.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had sex?
16, 15, 16?
17, 2 weeks from my 18th birthday. Okay, so go on.
Whoa.
I guess that's the only time I've been celibate. But kind of to your point, the reverse of that is with porn, because I could have sex pretty much every day if I wanted. It has made me much more balanced in who I want to spend time with, because it's oh, I can get sex.
Right.
Sex is not that
Very
big
good
of a
point.
deal. And I think before that, the drive, the sex drive changes our rationale and our thinking so much. And you see it with breakups, when somebody's they're with somebody who's so clearly toxic, but because they have that emotional connection and the sexual connection with it, and they're used to getting that high from that person, it changes their thinking around it. And it's the same with sex. And it was what we were talking about before with Bang Bus, when the guy's I think it's real, because they want it to be real. Or when I'm talking to guys as a woman online for some of my clients,
he's gotcha.
It's so obvious. There's so many clear signs, but because they so badly want to believe it, they do these mental gymnastics.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same. So with getting to have the pleasure and the privilege of getting to have sex with many attractive women is that it's made me much more conscious about who I spend my time with and who I want to be in relationships with, and not as I don't go really to bars or parties anymore, because it was really just to like potentially meet somebody. But I meet so many people.
Yeah, true.
I can relate to that too, and especially as you get older, like you realize like how much more valuable like just time.
That's what I'm saying. Time.
Yeah. So are you monogamous or are you poly?
I am neither.
I feel like myself, bitch.
I think I have many poly friends and I love them, but
it's a lot.
It's so I feel like their entire calendar ends up being like, I met a lot of the guys specifically. They're like, well, on Tuesday, that's Janine's night. And then Wednesday, that's Caroline's night.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I don't have fucking time for that. I barely have time for like one serious relationship.
Period. Let alone myself.
So I haven't, since I've started performing, well, I was dating somebody when I started performing and that sort of ended. But since I've started performing a lot, I haven't been in a serious like girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. And I don't know what that would look like. It would probably be, I like the idea of having a person and then we travel with and do things with, and then we have sex with other people. But I don't think...
The emotional, mental thing.
I mean, I do connect with people, but just like dating other people takes so much energy. Right. I just don't have time for that. So right now I kind of define myself as like, I casually, like when I hang out with you, I give you my full attention. We have a great time. And then we may text after that, but I'm not like constantly thinking about you or worried about.
So you're just dating. You're just being a normal guy, just dating, but like you have sex with hot women on camera, and you got to find a woman that's gonna understand that like that's your work. That's separate. Yeah. That's, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know that I have to find.
If you want to.
Yeah, when I was younger, I never like thought about, when I get married or when I never dreamed about that. I was just like, I don't know, thinking I was going to be Indiana Jones or something. That's what little boys.
I never thought that way either.
It's just such a cultural thing of like, you need to get married and to be partnered up, because we do have that drive. But I've seen very few examples of relationships that go the distance that are fulfilled. Or it's the same with kids. Like having kids, we always have this dream of like, oh, when we're older, we want kids that'll take care of us. Like most people I know don't have a great relationship with their parents.
These kids,
like I love my parents, but we're very different, and we're not like super close. And I think it's the same with relationships. Is like it's this drive to want to reproduce that we need to be rational about. And for me, I think what would be worse, like having a relationship that you're with for like 30 years. And then you get old and maybe they die 10 years before you do. And then you're alone at like 70 and you haven't built a whole friend network. Whereas I'm like trying to build like a huge friend network. Yeah. A lot of people I'm intimate with. So I'm putting my emotional bags or eggs in mini baskets as opposed to a single person, I guess. But I just seen so few examples of relationships that work out perfectly. Like, unless you die at the exact same time, you are going to die alone.
It's not everything's a Notebook, which is beautiful.
The Notebook.
No, they die together.
I mean, do they?
Yeah, but he lays with her, and then they both die.
Romeo and Juliet died together too.
Yeah, because they killed themselves.
Yeah, tragic.
I might after this. Just kidding. It's fine. Way to bring it up.
But so I think it's more just like, I just want to be happy with myself, and learning how to meet people and make friends. When I'm 60, 70, I will be able to meet 60, 70-year-old women and be very happy with that. Right. Like I know you really want somebody in your life that you can share those stories with and memories. But I can have that with a lot of people instead of just one person. So I'm not focused on...
No, even just like your friends that are platonic too. You still might want those relationships.
And those relationships usually last a lot longer. Like I kind of joke that like I should marry a guy, like one of my good friends, Robbie or something, because we have no sexual tension. Like we don't want to fuck each other, but we like, our life paths are similar. We don't... Yeah. Like I remember I lived in the garage apartment of two older gay men, and they were like life partners, and at one point they were sexual, but at this point they were more just like roommates who loved each other and their life journey was going together, but they had other
I found that common in like the gay world.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
It's the future.
Yeah, this is future.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna find
100%.
a platonic life partner.
Yeah, like literally. Well, speaking of not life partners, but I guess this could be a life partner or a
Life
day
and
partner.
death.
Yeah.
I see where you're going. I see where
the
the segue
segments,
is
You know.
yes.
Yeah, I see what's coming.
Our go-to segment, and this is, we have a good one today. The three people. BB.
The three people.
Well, yeah, for her seg.
Okay.
BB's gonna.
You're gonna help me because I forgot who the last one is.
Okay, so remember, fuck, marry, kill. We do it every
Yeah.
episode, and always kind of based off of what we're talking about, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So we were thinking, obviously industry. Jenna Jameson, she's a fucking staple.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the industry, but like still sexually charged. From Showgirls, what's her name? The actress?
Elizabeth Berkley.
Elizabeth Berkley, and then other big porn star
Riley Reid.
Riley Reid.
Ooh, fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is hard.
They always are.
Well, we'll let BB go first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, man, I have to kill Nomi Malone.
Oh, we love Nomi.
I know, but she just gets so mad all the time, like over everything.
She's
just like
coked out, bethed out.
No, she wasn't even on anything.
Yeah,
she
she did
was
drugs.
a little bit. Not in the
gonna watch that.
beginning.
Are we
saying
not
her
the beginning.
character
Her
or
character. Her
so we're-
character.
Yes.
Okay,
her character.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch that
When she
later.
threw
Such a
the
good movie.
hamburger, I can't. So I would have to kill
Yeah, don't
her.
fuck it. That pissed me off. I was like, I want that burger right now.
I have to kill her. I would fuck Riley Reid. She's a little petite. She's cute. You know? And then I would marry Jenna Jameson for the legacy.
Right. That's a good point.
Interesting.
Wow. You know what? I have to say, I would probably fuck Jenna Jameson because that would just be a great time. And that's legendary. I would have to kill Riley because, I don't know. She's too, I know that like, she just looks so, she's not a type of girl that I'd be attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
She just seems so vanilla to me. No offense.
Really?
Yeah, she's just kind of like I like a little bit of exotic.
She does gangbangs, but she's an
No, I'm talking about the ambiance of her. I just feel like I wouldn't look twice, kind of thing. No offense, love you, man. And I'd marry Nomi. I'm a dancer. As a dancer, we would open a studio together. I used to remember the combination in that. But yeah, I love Nomi. Versace. Love you, sweetie. Yeah. Sorry, that got really intense. Okay.
Okay, mine's gonna be very safe. I'm gonna kill Nomi because she's not a real person. I'm not gonna piss her off. Also, I haven't known that many dancers that I've loved, like,
Right.
personality-wise. I would fuck Jenna Jameson because just for the story.
Right.
And also, like, I know she's I may run into her one day. So I don't want to say anything to her.
Played
But,
it right, sweetie.
Just from some of the stuff she's posted on social media, I don't think our personalities would jive, I don't think we're on the same page on
Right.
a lot of things. And Riley, I've met a few times. She's pretty stable. She does very well for herself. She bought a very big house, leads a pretty normal life. And I think if
she's
I
up there.
married her, not only would I get to have sex with her, but I would probably get to have sex with all of her friends for videos and stuff.
Ooh, that is actually such a good
So
point.
it would
He's
be
a
like
thinker.
a stable life, but then also,
And you guys probably will have an empire.
Yeah.
yeah.
The Alf Empire.
Look at me.
The alpha. It would be the Reed Empire.
Just want to
He's a
clarify.
feminist.
I am okay being the guy behind the scenes. In fact, I will
He's a
say
feminist.
Yes.
the interesting thing about porn is some of the biggest stars have guys behind the scenes that you don't know about.
Oh,
And that's like, you almost have to build that huge of a brand.
You're like the Stedman.
you're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm okay
he's
being
the
that
Stedman
guy.
to their Oprah.
Yeah. They make a fucking killing. You'd have your own empire, your own agency, if you will. I don't know. Just want to keep the record straight. I would still fuck the shit out of Riley. It was like, I really would.
We also want to mention
yes.
Haydar Extracts, great weed company in the San Fernando Valley here in Los Angeles,
He's
California.
not bad to look at either.
Yes, shout out to Anthony and Haydar. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
And our sponsor.
Our other sponsor, Sweet Home Spirits. My boy Austin, straight up from the University of Alabama.
Bama.
We've got your good whiskey, vodka, and limoncello FedExed on the way, and we'll luckily have that next episode.
We will showcase it, yes. And we'll make sure that Bianca will be back, and
Bianca
she'll make special drinks for it. So stay tuned. Also, if you want to give your socials, your
drop them,
whatever.
Yeah. So the easiest way is shawnalff.com, ShawnAlff.com, and that has all of my links. But all of my handles are just at Shawn Alff. So
perfect.
Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans, TikTok. It's all the same.
Fabulous.
Right.
Thank you so much. This was such a great episode.
Thank you for having me.
You're amazing, and I still want to cuddle with you.
I would love to cuddle.
We all do.
Maybe
yeah. Oh my gosh. Will
And
you be in the middle?
Hating us. Go, baby. Sorry, our engineer for the day is not about to look at as well. So just throw that out there. Sorry, Aaron. You're not here.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, but at the end, we always like to flick off the camera. Thank you so much. We love to see it. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you. Thank you, guys.